Welcome back to the Love Conquers podcast. I got another dope guest on the podcast today. So y'all know what time it is. I interview dope couples who are going to be dropping gems on areas of their relationship that you may be struggling in. So, I just need y'all to tune in to this dope couple because I got Shanice and Shawn on the podcast. And I just appreciate y'all coming through, man.
I appreciate
Thanks
you, man,
for having us.
Same. How y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Really
chilling.
Really good.
Yeah. So look, I know I've been asking y'all to come on my podcast because I've just been hearing that y'all a dope couple, right? So y'all say y'all been together 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when did you guys meet?
I think I was a junior in college, so 2014, 2015.
Yeah, about 2014, 2015.
Y'all know this is a real couple. Anytime a person can survive college, not too many people come out of college. Well, you know what? I heard they say that college is actually the best place to find your wife or husband. I don't know if you ever heard that before, but they said like minds are in the same environment, so that's the best place to actually find like a spouse. So I guess y'all already on the right path.
That wasn't my spouse then. That wasn't my spouse.
Oh, y'all was trying to figure it out.
We was friends. We was building a friendship.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
But
dope.
what you said, the like mind thing, because we actually majored in the same. We ended up graduating with the same major, which is psychology.
Okay.
We both started off in bio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started off freshman year, biochem, and you.
I was biopsychology, so I dropped the bio.
So wait, did y'all finish at the
We finished together.
At the same time.
with the same major?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really dope. So it was crazy how it happened because we went to college, of course, SIUE. Shout out to them. Not for real though. But we didn't know each other. We went to the same parties, et cetera, et cetera. We knew some of the same people in our own friend groups.
Right.
But we just never knew each other. But we ended up being classmates in the same psychology classes, and we ended up becoming cool friends. Study partners. Well, I was the one who was really studying.
Yeah.
She always ended up getting better grades than
Okay.
me, which was crazy.
No, that was smart by you though. You was around somebody who was smarter than you in that subject, and it allowed you to get through.
Facts.
No, that's dope. That's pretty cool. Like how you can be in the same environment with somebody, and then they end up to be the person you spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so let me ask y'all this. I always ask all my couples this question, right? What makes y'all relationship dope or unique? Like, what's special about y'all relationship?
I'll let Shanice go first.
I think what makes our relationship unique, of course, is because of who we are as like individuals. Like I allow Shawn to step into whatever he feels God put him on earth to do, and let him flourish in it. And the same, whatever path I wanted to be on, he completely supports it, and like being a spouse of somebody who's a pastor, or walked in that, very heavily in the church is being young. That's hard. So I think that makes us unique too, because we're like, when we first started being in our relationship, I was 20.
All right,
Yeah.
so wow, yeah, I like that. So you're a pastor? Cause you should. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. I like to keep it low key.
No, well, look, now you're on the
Sorry.
podcast. So look, millions of people don't know about this
No,
now.
but I mean, it's real. Being 21 when we got into a relationship, and him heavily that's what he doing with his life. Then none of my friends, they wasn't dating nobody who was in the church like with a role.
Yeah.
So that was something we navigated together. It wasn't something where I had other people. You like minded. Now we're older. We're married.
Right.
It's other couples we can be with that are married, but.
At that
you
time.
20 and 21 years old, they like
What?
it's hot girl summers, and I'm with a they like
Right, yeah. That's good. So like, wait a second, I should have had you pray for us.
No, you are good, man. Yeah.
So like, is that the same? You feel the same way, or do you feel something else makes y'all dope and unique? Or
I definitely feel and agree with what she said. I think the amazing thing is that even though we met in college, we didn't really start developing that serious relationship till after college. So I didn't become a pastor till after college. I didn't like really make a move to be with her till after college. So we would really be had a really organic relationship as friends first. So like we was talking about before, study buddies, just being there, consoling each other, helping each other out through hard times, just genuine friends. So I really married my best friend. Really found my best friend in college. So that was dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, I would say the willingness. So when she did bring up me being a pastor and pursuing what I believe God has put me on this earth to do, like she said, being young, like, whoa, like, come on, G, this is what you really want to do?
Right.
So it was for me, I would say what makes us unique is the willingness of two people who are both individuals, as she was sharing, to become one, but still being those two in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? A common theme of people that's been coming on the podcast. So I want to touch on it with you guys because I haven't touched on it before, but a lot of people really like hone in on the aspect of like having that friendship, like before the marriage. And like I was on an interview with another couple, and they said, and I asked them, like, how can that be possible with another individual? Like, how can they create that friendship if, like, because y'all saw each other at college, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all were around each other, and y'all started studying together, and so it built into something. But what about if you would have just saw her walking, and then you stopped to talk to her? Like, now you're not coming in like as a friend. You're coming in like, hey, I'm trying to get your number so we can link up.
I would have told him no.
You would have told him no. I don't even know if I want to ask why.
No, because I told him that though, because like we didn't know each other, but our friend groups knew each other. Like his roommate, I didn't know Shawn, but like I used to hang out. Like his roommate was like my friend.
Right.
So we used to be all at the same parties and stuff, but I didn't know him. So I'm like, if I would have knew you in that aspect, because I knew your friends. If you would have tried to talk to me on that aspect, I'd have been like, I'm good.
Because you ain't, I'm just gonna, she didn't let me there, bro. So you ain't like what his friends was on then.
They was cool, but like I wasn't looking for no party dude who on the scene. Everybody know you when you on campus. Everybody want to speak and all that. When I was more so, I was walking across campus. Don't nobody talk. Please don't say nothing to me, so I don't gotta stop to talk to nobody. He was like, everybody, oh Shawn.
Right. That's a gem though, cause you knew what you wanted. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. But why wouldn't, if you didn't know his friends and he would have stopped and talked to you, why wouldn't you have engaged in that?
I would have said hey, but I wouldn't have pursued it. I don't know if he was trying to talk to me, kind of thing.
Why
it would have
not?
been like, because I wasn't into the person who everybody on campus was into.
She would have assumed.
No. I'm saying like if y'all didn't meet at campus and y'all met
we didn't.
outside
just in general.
Yeah, and he just saw you walking, he pulled over, get out of the car, tried to talk to you, type of thing. Then what?
We still would have just been friends. I was trying to graduate. Okay. I wasn't on that messing with nobody. I was trying to graduate.
Funny story. So our counselor, I'm not sure if we had the same counselor, but our counselor was both our counselors. I don't know if she was the same person or not, but they was definitely trying to make us do some extra semesters at school. And so once I was like, no, I think I got enough credits to graduate with my degree that I'm trying to graduate in. And I was having that conversation with her. And like she just said, she was trying to get out of school as soon as she can. I'm like, yo, you got enough? And she's like, for real? And so I was just there. I don't know, I feel like we helped each other to realize that we can get out this jam earlier. So we was working on problems that I guess we kind of face individually, collectively, starting off as friends.
So at that time period, got it. What if you were single now though, and he tried to stop and talk to you?
Oh, that's different.
That's
You're a different person.
So the question would be for you then. I ask you the question. If you tried to talk to her now and she accepted it, like, okay, cool, like, give me your number, we can, link up, y'all went out on a date or whatever, right? How would you have created that friendship? Because your intentions wasn't friendship. Your intentions was, I want to get to know you on a more personal level.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, I'm assuming that's what most people, when they try to stop and get somebody's number. You know what I mean? And because, like I said, the theme of, like, friendship, it's been really, like, across all the podcasts. Like, man, like, this was my friend. But I'm just thinking, like, a lot of people might not. I guess I'm speaking to those people who don't get that opportunity to meet as a friend first, and they get that opportunity where you're meeting as you're trying to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
How can you build that friendship while you're actually dating? Like, is that a, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, I feel like if I was to try to pursue her, if everything was new and I was trying to pursue her now, that friendship piece would have to still be included. It would still have to be essential as far as like, okay, this is what we're doing, but I feel like it's based off of each individual. So can I keep it real?
Yeah.
So as guys, before, this walk of faith or whatever you want to call it, it was all about a couple things. And one of the main things was, getting straight to it.
Yeah.
So getting straight to it for you guys who don't know,
say
like,
it. Say it.
Get
smashing.
GTD, right?
Having sex.
Get the draw.
We're gonna say it. Having sex.
Right. So I feel like that should be, with the people who we are now, of course, that should be like one of the last things.
So you say even
people skip steps.
Got it. So all right, even if you are pursuing that person, even if you are like, yo, I saw you look good, I want your number, maybe we can start dating, kick it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like you saying, like those things, those intimate things, kind of like, even if you're not waiting to marriage, but kind of let those be pushed back a little bit, right? So you can get to know the person. So you're saying once people start combining those intimate things, it's like it's hard to kind of go back.
Yeah, I feel like because once you start to include those intimate things, as far as sex, as far as maybe even living together, just different things that comes before just building that genuine friendship, you have different expectations now. And you're like, hold on, I don't know this girl for real.
It's harder to learn somebody who they genuinely are, in my opinion, when y'all in a sexual relationship already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you gave that person your body, so y'all know each other intimately, but you can't really, like, if I don't know you and we just sleeping with each other, like, because people do that.
Right.
I can't even comfortably tell you that I don't like the way you're doing that, or to teach you how I want you to please me, because we ain't really cool. When you somebody friend, you can, this is my friend, so I can tell him, we can talk through pleasing each other, right? But if that's not my friend, when you sleeping with somebody, it's the first one night stand type of situation, y'all get off and that be it. You can't, and then the girl you be like, that was trash afterwards. But if that's your friend, you can comfortably be like, this not working.
I didn't really like when you did that.
You can't do that with somebody you just met.
So the friendship allows comfortable communication.
Got it. So that's good, man. So like both of y'all just hit on a topic that hasn't been hit on the pod yet. Like that, that's good. So you're saying, look, for those people who are interested in, all right, look, you didn't meet this person in college, cool. Or even if you did meet this person in college, whatever. Your intentions was, hey, I want to make her mine. You saying those intimate things, push those back, because it's hard to really like get to know. It's hard. Like I like how you said it, Shanice. You said it's hard to communicate because you like, I really don't even know this person yet.
All right. So are you really gonna be open enough to be like, you're not doing that right with somebody you just met?
That's real.
That's deep.
Because then you gonna hurt somebody's feelings, so you already know that y'all talking or the dating is not really gonna happen afterwards because you communicated they weren't doing it, and in their head they probably thought they was killing it.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you open up to somebody that you just dating or really just getting to know that wasn't it, you think they gonna really be trying to take you after? He gonna be embarrassed.
But
and vice versa, I'd be embarrassed.
Let's continue to keep it real. If that was to happen, because we're human, as far as those intimate things may have came before, right? Of course, it might be hard to like stop or try to build, but it's still possible to build.
Yeah.
Tell us how.
It's possible to build by starting having those communication pieces come into play.
You saying, look, if you gonna go that route first,
right?
If you're gonna have sex first, y'all gonna get super intimate first. don't be afraid of what your wife was saying now.
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to go tell a person like, hey,
exactly.
I need you to do this if you want to keep
Yeah.
being with me. I need you to learn my body if you want to keep.
Or just learn me.
Right.
So have those conversations sooner rather than later.
But it just depends on what you want after a relationship.
Yeah.
So do y'all think most people they had a right? So if you do want to commit a relationship, so you think most people this where the drama may come in that they would have sex early, get intimate early. Now they want to communicate with somebody or what they don't like or do like, or now they want to just allow the person to explore their mind. But by this time, a year later, they're like, "Oh, you ain't tell me that in the beginning."
Right. But they weren't talking in the beginning.
Right.
Because they were nervous because they never got a chance to know that person.
Right. So friendships, it helps you to get to know that person, helps you to get to know that person past, the other persons that person may have been. You know, it could be other friends or other people they've been with. That comes through the friendship.
So, you know what? I got to ask you a question, bro. Like, your wife set it up. Listen, don't blame me. She gave me that. She threw the ball up. I'm about to dunk it. What made you, like, look at your wife at the time, a friend, at the time, maybe just a girlfriend? Because I don't know at what point in time you, like, decided, like, yo, I need to make her mine, like, type of thing. Because she said you were a player, bro. Like, you was out there. You was the man on campus. That's Shawn. What up, boy? Like, you was that dude. So, like, what made you transition from, like, saying, like, yo, I kind of want to pump the brakes on?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
No. So, the things that she shared was some things that she heard. And so, she heard my past.
Okay.
She was getting to know me.
Was it true?
It was definitely true.
Okay.
But when we started to get to know each other, I was already in a transitional change.
Okay.
So when we started to get to know each other, I already dropped out of school, came back to school. I already was like, praying and fasting. So I was already trying to seek who I was supposed to be.
Okay.
As I was like getting to know her.
Got it.
That's as she was like trying to graduate and not really get to know anybody. I was trying to get to know myself, who I was in Christ. And not really trying to get to know anybody. Because I'm like, I'm about to spend this time to get to know who I am. And as she was doing the same thing for her, we kind of like was doing it together. So that's how we became genuine friends.
Unknowingly, though. Like, I didn't know he was on his walk with God.
Right.
Got it. So she was focused on the purpose at hand. And you was focused on your purpose at hand.
Yeah.
So, like, are you saying that you allowed her to see, you saw her in a different light versus, like, other women before her?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like I can't stress enough. We were just genuine friends. Like, I would share some of my issues or my problems that I was dealing with. She would share some of her issues and her problems that she was dealing with. But it was
keep on.
It was towards the end of our undergrad that I started to like really see like, oh, she fine for real.
Right.
She really dope. Because we used to go to class. Both of us used to go to class in like jogging pants. Like, not really caring about what other people thought.
Okay.
So we wasn't trying to dress to impress or do anything like that. So I didn't see her in that light. So I seen her in a light where she didn't have the glamour on. Right? As Drake said, like, how you go? Hair tied, chilling, with no makeup on. Right? That's when she was the prettiest, for real.
Got it.
She's still pretty. She's the finest that she could ever be now because she's my wife, of course. And I see her in that light every day. But we didn't see each other in that, high stakes, right? So that's what made it even more unique. And I'm like, ooh, she dope. She's accepting me. You feel me?
Got it.
So
you saying basically, because I got a question for you, Shanice. So you saying basically, Shawn, that it's good to find people who walking in their purpose at the same time you walking in yours. Does that help?
That helps.
I think it helps. I think it's harder. Of course, it didn't. That's not our story. But when you hear about people who maybe one of the people are like they're on their career path, they in school, they doing this, and the other person is supporting them, and then I feel like you get real in tune with the other person, and then you forget about what you doing and what you want to do when it's like one person doing it.
Got it.
Versus like he was supporting me and I was supporting him on whatever our individual paths were. It wasn't like I was completely in tune and like it's all about Shawn and getting him through his walk, and it was like, what about Shanice?
Now later on, now you got to try to find out who you are while this person walking in, what they doing, and that kind of causes a ripple effect or some type of break. That's good. Like just being aware, like, are you in your purpose and is your spouse in their purpose? Well, at the time, if you're gonna try to get to know somebody, just even if they try to stop you off the street, right? Like, yo, once you get to know them, like, what you doing with your life?
Right.
You know, that's good. So, what made you bring him out the friend zone? Because that's, I don't know if it's tougher for women, but I hear what they say when some men get in the friend zone, they in the friend zone. There ain't no bringing them out. So, like, what made you say, let me look at him in a different light?
I don't know.
You better tell it, baby.
Or maybe you already looked at him as like in that light. I just never got to that point.
I feel like I probably, maybe the end of our senior year, I probably was like, okay, like if this was to pursue to something, then I roll with it. Like we can see where it goes. But I think it just kind of happened organically. Like we both wanted to take it to a relationship. Because I feel like I asked him first, okay, so what are we doing when we graduated? Like
the question of
the friendship thing that's been cool, but like what we doing past that? If you're
So,
trying to date and want to do all of that at that point, but it hasn't been established yet.
Yeah. So I had to ask the question because y'all spoke on it earlier. Did you guys get intimate while you were friends?
No, we waited till we got married.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No intimacy at all?
I mean, kissing, holding hands.
No.
PDA.
Okay. No.
We didn't have sex until
that's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah.
until marriage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I mean, like, listen, why I'm gonna say wow again. A lot of people not doing it like that no more.
That's real.
Like you saying, well, I asked y'all the question in the beginning. What make y'all relationship dope? We waited until we got married to answer. You better say that proudly. Like, man, okay, so like y'all taking me so many different. This is good, man. Hey, this is good. So I don't even know what to take that. Cause I had like 20. I had like 20 questions that hit me. You know why? Because my wife is a big promoter of this. She says, hey, she doesn't believe in, I'm gonna bring our relationship on here real quick, right? She don't believe in having a bunch of, like, say if you're a male and you got a female, like a bunch of female friends, or if you're a female and you got a bunch of male friends. Like, she says, yo, if you got a female friend that you really close to, and everybody different, I'm just telling you how we operate, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you can start talking to that person a lot, being around that person, and naturally just start feeling like,
developing feelings for them.
Yeah, and now you can have friendships and like this my boy, but through us connecting, you might become a friend of mine. But she's saying, yo, when you got that person you can always call and talk to, that can build something that organically, like y'all did, that you're not even aware of. Mm-hmm. So like, for me, when you say y'all met in college, right before that, you guys were, mingling, talking to other people, doing your thing, right? And then y'all both start to get on focus, but y'all were together a lot in classes, same, major. How hard was it? Was it hard to not get intimate?
For sure. For me.
Not for me.
For me, it was.
Okay, it was. Because I'm like, and why not? Because I'm asking this like authentically, because somebody, I know some people who, who's waiting till they get married, or they trying to wait, but they like, bro, it's hard. Because they were already sexual before.
Right.
So it wasn't like, hey, I was a virgin or I was never sexual before, so I don't even know what it feels like anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, was it hard? Like, I know you said no. I know you said, yeah, it was hard for you. Why wasn't it hard? Because you guys were building a bond. You were around each other. You were touching. And then you were together for a couple years before you got married. Like, how was that?
7 years.
So that's 7 years before. So like, I guess the question would be, what advice would you give that person who's watching this, who's like, man, tell us how to do that. Like how to
even while engaged too.
So nothing while y'all was engaged. You talking about like full blown? When I put the ring on that night, type of.
Yeah.
Yeah. We waited till we signed the paper after the ceremony.
Either that's a lot of discipline. I don't know what that is. So what is that?
It's definitely discipline, and it's two people being on the same page. Like
facts.
We weren't pressing each other to, have sex. Like, of course, you got people. Of course, people like he asked you to marry him. Y'all can go ahead and have sex now. I'm like, we waited all this time. We might as well wait until the wedding day. Like, we were engaged for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout that time, everybody like, y'all engaged already. Go ahead and give him his baby.
Hold
and do
on,
all of
hold
that.
on.
I'm like, no, it's okay.
Slow down now, mama. Hold on.
I got drink some water.
Yeah, drink some water. Look, all right, we about to dive into this. What's good, y'all? Look, we got to take a quick break, and we're going to get right back to the podcast. I just got to highlight our sponsor of the podcast, 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand. One of the hottest clothing brands coming out of the Chicagoland area. They cater to men, women, and children. It's fashionable all year round. And they represent what the podcast represents. Family, love, and unity. So, go get you some 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand right now. Go to 7loveapparel.com and type in Love Conquers 20, and you'll get 20% off because, they're a sponsor of the podcast. So, let's get right back to this episode. That was pretty deep. Y'all been giving, I want to recap real quick, right? Y'all been giving gems on, hey, how to be friends. What does that look like? Growing with a person, getting to know their mind, getting to spend time with them, quality time with them, right? Like y'all told me y'all quality time at that time looked like y'all were studying together, right? Like y'all had a mission and a goal, so you were around each other often, but it was purposeful, right? So I think that's a gem in itself. I also think you guys touched on the fact of like, hey, if you're trying to pursue somebody, like seriously pursue them, maybe you should hold off the sex because it's hard to properly communicate. I'm taking all your words and tell me if I'm wrong, right? But you said it's hard to properly communicate with somebody if you're having sex with them early because now you don't feel comfortable to tell them like, yo, you did that wrong or I didn't like that. Versus getting to know somebody, and then when you do engage intimately, you can tell a person like, yo, Shawn, you know how you gonna respond. So you know how his emotionalism is on a scale of 1 to 10. So I mean, y'all been giving a ton of gems. I want to dive into this second point though, which is, hey, the discipline in y'all marriage is crazy. Like y'all just, y'all waited until y'all got married to have sex, right? And 7 years in the game with each other and waited. Like so many people, y'all looking at a young couple right now, and I'm looking at a young couple right now. Like y'all young and beautiful and vibrant, but I don't care what age you are. We can learn. I'm learning from this discipline. So I gotta ask y'all a question. What's some tactics? What's some strategies, right, that you would give a person if they're like, hey, okay, Shawn, okay, Shanice, I'm going to wait until I'm going to learn this person. This is what y'all talking about, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to actually apply this podcast to my relationship. I'm going to wait to have sex with this person. I'm going to wait to get intimate with that person. What are some tactics? What would that look like? And the second question, what if somebody already had sex and now they like trying to slow it down? I know you guys didn't, but what advice would you give that person as well?
I think as a woman, it's like the body empowerment is like really big right now, and like but I think that what I take sex as is not what people, or even in college or just growing up on my friends took. Like we view sex as two different things. So like when I met him and we first started like studying or whatever like that, but I'm going over there all the time, I straight up told him, I'm not having sex with you, right? And he wasn't trying to have sex with me. We was straight studying, and it just came, and like I just wanted to let him know.
She let me know up front.
Off on some, we studying together. You give me the study guide to this test. I'm not having sex with you, right? Because that's people mindset. But I don't think it was even about. Initially, it wasn't about getting to know him first because we were just friends with each other. It was a personal thing. Like my mind is more powerful than my body, and people do it the other way around. Like. I don't think people give their mind enough credit. Like if you can mentally tell yourself you can do X, Y, and Z, you can get through it. And for me, it was a mind thing. Like I'm not giving my body to anybody. So it wasn't just him. it was like in college period, that's not what I'm here for.
And so you wasn't sexual active before that either?
I lost my virginity in college, and then I stopped, and period, like it started and stopped right in the college experience.
So, you taking me somewhere. I'm going to go there since you opened it up. What made you stop? Because, you know, like I was in college, right? A lot of our friends were in college. Like, what made you stop?
I just don't think it was, and not the experience was like, I'm not saying the experience was horrible, but I just, for me personally, mentally, I was just like, there's so much other stuff to be doing other than being consumed with somebody sexually. Like, that should not be the only thing that's on your mind. Like, I think people go through life and they make choices off sexually what they feeling. Because they horny or they feel this, so they gonna do that versus thinking about stuff through. And I was always that person, like, I don't want to be a Lifetime movie where all this stuff happening and you catching this and you doing that because y'all move. Like, you making choices based off of sexual frustration and all of that. So just for me personally, I was like, I'm cool until I get married, because you keep stuff from people when you do that. Like, soul ties and stuff I believe in them. So after the first time, I'm like, okay, I could have waited. You know, like, not the experience was bad, but just like mentally, I gave in to somebody else's, what their desire, like, and that showed to me personally that I wasn't mentally, you know, I wasn't mentally strong enough to go with what I wanted to do was to not have sex, period, until I got married. So when I met him, I'm like, you know, I'm not having, even though because I wasn't giving nobody the time of day on just being friends in college. So to have a male friend in college, I told him straight up, like, just on we studying, you know, I'm not having sex with you, right? So I don't know if that's eventually you're going to try to pursue that, whatever. I'm not doing it.
Hold on. I couldn't articulate that no better. Listen, that was a gem. And I have a segment all the time where I say gem alert, gem alert, gem alert. And this is why. That was so powerful. That was so beautiful. And how you said that. And the gem in that I took away was, you said, and I can't even say it how you said it. You just said it. You said, don't let somebody else's desires control you or take over your desires or your mind.
Dictate my movement, yeah.
And then you came back and you doubled down on that and said, hey, a lot of people do it in reverse. You said this first. You said a lot of people do it in reverse. They let their body be more stronger than their mind. Mm-hmm. Instead of, hey, the mind is the most powerful, the strongest thing on the planet. Yeah. So if you can control that, then you can control the body and what you want. But don't let nobody else's desires be stronger than yours. Wow, you gotta put that in the book. You gotta. I'm serious. Like, that was. I mean, I just took so much from that. Like I said, like, I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care how new you are in the game. You saying that just opened up a whole new perspective for me. And I'm appreciative of that, because you just said, hey, you might be letting somebody dictate your pace. And you don't even want that. And so how can you give somebody your all? And how can you be genuinely authentic with somebody if they're dictating your pace? Now you're like a robot. You're just doing what they want you to do.
Whether you learn to enjoy it or not, you moving at somebody else's pace. So I laid it on the table with him before he wasn't even on that. So I always ask him now, like, what did you think? Of course, then I wasn't asking him, like, when I said that to you, what was you thinking? So I've asked him recently.
This is my podcast now. I was about to ask the question now. Hold on, you on fire. She trying to take over the Love Congress podcast, y'all. Look, so this is how we gonna do it. I'm gonna go right where she was just going, right?
Yeah.
But she gave the first in the notebook, like, write it down type of thing. She said, hey, tell the person. You can't tell them up front. Because what we're talking about, and before you go, bro, because she hit on so much. We got to unpack it a little bit.
Sure.
She went back to the beginning, because I'm processing it, right? Like, this is what I'm doing right now, because everything you said, I'm making a mental note for my relationship. And you said, hey, if we can we touch on what's going on in the world right now? Y'all comfortable with that? I don't know if y'all know where I'm about to go with it, but you said it's a lot going on with I don't know how you said it, but you said with women or sexuality or the body of women. But right now, like, I'm not on the politics boy with it. I'm just gonna go there because it's a strong topic right now, and we're talking about, you know, sex and being involved and having, you know, control over your body and mind. And I think a lot of women, it might empower them. If I repeat what you said, which is, you know, you guys know it's this abortion thing going on, and a lot of people are in favor of it. A lot of people are not in favor of it, right? I'm more so on what you just said, which is just those women or men who are having sex. And I'm not talking about being forced. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, hey, you had sex, you really didn't want to, like you was just giving in to somebody else's desires, and now you have to go, or you're thinking about doing certain things, right? She just gave y'all a gem, man, and I don't want to get away from that. She just said, hey, for future references, those who are in that position, or like, you got control over your body because you got control over your mind. So before you put yourself in a position of somebody else's desires, and you don't even really want to be in that position, just know that you got control over your mind, and you can dictate the pace, right? So for those, I just want those women out there. Like I said, I don't want to touch too hard on it, but I just want those women and even men, you know, to know like you have control over your bodies, and you don't have to put yourself in future situations that you necessarily might not want to be in. That makes sense? And so I want to go to you, Shawn, and your wife, you know, spoke, you know, very eloquently. What was your mind at?
When she asked me that question?
No, like, what was your mind at throughout the whole? Because she gave, I'm going to say, speak to the guys now. She gave the lady something. She said, hey, tell a person up front, like, yo, we can do it, but we got to wait, or whatever your preference is. You wanted to wait in general. Whatever, mm-hmm. But she said, hey, she told the ladies, like, tell a person, like, yo, we going to wait till 30 days. Yeah. We're going to wait till we get married. A lot of people not speaking up and using their voice.
Facts.
So what would you tell the fellas if they're in a situation? I gave you guys 2 questions. Question 1 was how to, give the people a gem or a tactic on how they got through, how you guys got through being, celibate, basically.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it's a plethora of different things. I'm gonna try to touch on a few.
Yeah.
First thing I want to touch on is understanding your environment. It's super crucial. So your environment of temptations. Temptations come to everybody. You feel me? So I grew up in an environment where I had mostly brothers. There was 6 of us in the household. 5 of us was guys. 1, which is the eldest, a girl. So I grew up, GTD, get the draws. You feel me? And even for us who didn't grow up with, brothers, we grew up with some guys. We grew up with, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. Just different things that wasn't based around treating her like a lady. You feel me? So understanding your environment, that peer pressure gonna come no matter how old you are. That's what I mean by understanding your environment. The part 2 of understanding your environment is, don't put yourself in quicksand. So if you are trying to hold out, don't put yourself in an environment where y'all together late at night, because the freaks come out at night. Can I be real?
Yeah.
Freaks come out at night, and that's basically quicksand. Especially if both of y'all.
So y'all didn't hang out at night?
We did.
But
it was when it was time to go. It was time to go. But at the same time,
like when y'all was feeling that, like that certain type of way, that urge that you said, hey, one of y'all said, hey, we got to get out of here. Are you serious?
Yes, and that's that friendship piece that is so essential because we was comfortable.
We're telling each other.
Or communicating like, let me just slide over, whether it was in a funny way, whether it was in a very serious way. Yeah. We was able to communicate. But
let's sit on 2 different couches.
Right. But with people or let's pray. Yeah. But with people who, don't have that comfortability because they don't have that established friendship yet, it's going to be hard. Like, they're going to be in their own thoughts. Like, instead of communicating each other's thoughts, they're going to be in their own thoughts. So for guys, it might be like, man, I ain't no punk. Like, or I ain't about to let her know how I feel.
Right.
And because you ain't got that comfortability of You know what I'm saying? So that's the environmental piece that I'm talking about. Not just that, but as we were engaged, that was probably the hardest time for me. Even though she wasn't on it and I wasn't trying to be on that.
Why was that the hardest?
The hardest time of not trying to have sex.
Why?
Because it was the environment like, yo, y'all already basically here, you know what I'm saying? Yo,
so
this about
people
to be my
talking to you.
Right, people in my ear and my own thoughts as well.
So did you have to, so that's real though. So did you have to stop talking to people or like how did you handle it?
I had to handle that. Like some people I just couldn't stop talking to, of course, because like they were my family members and some people I talk to almost every day.
So did you just tell them like?
I just changed the subject like, yeah, G, we ain't on that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm trying to hold out. And they will
You stayed consistent.
I stay consistent. I had to stand my ground. So it's okay to be different.
Got it.
That was hard. I would say the engagement where people are like...
You were getting the same thing?
Across the board. Like, y'all already engaged. And
what does this say about people, all right? Let's talk bad about people right now. No, let's not talk bad.
It does say a lot about the people that you have around you. Because it wasn't like this. Nobody who you don't know going to be like, so y'all, it's people that's your best friends, your sister,
you know,
telling
people
them
close
like,
to you. Right. You telling them like, yo, I'm trying to wait.
And that is the additional essential piece of like, give your mind more credit in your body. Because when you have so many people who's they're not intentionally trying to, get in your mind, but people's words
that's
are powerful.
Normal for them.
Right, it's normal for them. So you are eventually going to either become your environment or...
I probably would have said the same thing. Like, bro, come on, man. You've been with us 7 years now. Like, I get it. That's why I said, I pray, that this, and I know it is, because it's a blessing on y'all relationship, that this podcast, because this is what the relationship conquers. This is what the Love Conquers podcast is all about. Conquering, your relationship for whatever that means. And like you going into like, man, I don't know if you got like, this is so good because anybody can learn from this.
Yeah.
If you're a 16-year-old, you can learn from this and say, hey, like, oh, we can wait. Shawn and Shanice, they just told me how to do it. Like, even if you 50 and you like, you know what? I don't really want to wait with that. But y'all giving people like how to be disciplined.
Yeah.
In general, whatever that is. You know what I mean? And so like this just relates so far, but I'm gonna go back. You said you said environment. Mm-hmm. So and then the second thing you would say was consistency.
It would be consistency.
Oh, I don't know. What were you about to say?
The second thing I would say, to be honest, is empowering your own mind.
That's what you're saying, empowering your own mind.
So what I had to do, I had to truly empower my mind and my view on her.
How?
By realizing who daughter she was. Right?
Go there. What does that mean? It sounds like you about to say another gym.
So for people who, may believe in God, may believe in whatever, realize that she or he is a very unique individual. Right? So for me, I believe in Christ, cool. Not trying to downplay like that, but y'all get what I'm saying.
Right.
So she is not just her biological father's daughter. She is my spiritual father, her spiritual father's daughter. So I have to see her as that. How do I treat a woman of God? And then how do I treat my future queen? Do I even view her as a queen? I have to start viewing her as a queen. I have to start viewing her as like, yo, these are the things that I can't wait to give her or even do to her as we are married. But right now, she don't deserve this because I know how this will make her feel in the long run because I know her goal, which is not to have sex before marriage. So if I was to try to bust a move and we're both very vulnerable and it could potentially happen before marriage, then I know later on that can make her feel. So I was trying to think ahead of time. So I was trying to plan ahead as well. And so that was all in the empowerment of my mind.
That's good, bro. Like, y'all, that's good. So, environment, being around each other and understanding how to communicate with each other at certain points in your, when you're feeling horny or feeling whatever the word is, some type of way, right? And then the second one, empower your mind to, so you saying, hey, so you would tell a person, look at the person and ask yourself, how do you view that person?
Right.
And if you view that person as a king or a queen, how would you treat that person? If this was Queen Elizabeth, if this was Michelle Obama right here in front of you, how would you treat a queen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like somebody of high status, somebody of royalty.
Yeah.
And then now ask the same question.
Right,
now
you wouldn't be pressing them on something.
No, you'd be like, I'd be kind of like, I don't even know if I should talk to her like that.
Yeah.
This was a level of healthy, like, fear almost, like a level of healthy respect.
Facts. Because you want to put them in the best situation. Like, this could potentially be, the mother of your children. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many different aspects, like we said, we can go into.
Yeah. So hold on. So wait. So those your two main points that you want to give the people, or did you have? Okay. I was about to say, I know you can go because that, but those. I mean, y'all both giving the people a lot of knowledge. I love to recap because I want somebody at home to be writing notes down. You know what I mean? I wish I need to start having a pen and paper myself. But in my invisible notes, I got, hey, it's okay to start out as friends. And if you do start that way, you probably shouldn't, tell me if I'm missing something too. You probably shouldn't, this advice, be sexual first because it blocks the friendship or the natural friendship, the natural communication piece to want to tell somebody how you feel authentically. Because when you start off having sex early, then it's like, hey, how can I tell this person how I really feel? I really don't even know this person. Mm-hmm. Then you tied it in, to the discipline route, and you said, hey, if it's better to be disciplined over whatever you want to be disciplined on, because now you're just not, in your words, Shanice, now you're just not feeding in until somebody else desires. You're in control of your own desires. If we don't want this, let's control, to Shawn's point, let's control our mind. Like, let's control our mind. And these are the things that's going to allow you to do it, which is, hey, understand your environment. Who are the people you're talking to? Where are you going? Literally your environment. Your mind. Like, your mind is powerful. Start looking at your spouse. This was big, bro. Start looking at your spouse as a queen or a king, and that's going to start allowing you to have a level of respect for them that maybe you wouldn't have if you just looked at her as Shanice and you just looked at him as Shawn, but not like, hey, this is Queen Shanice, this is King Shawn. That's a different type of presence that the person brings now. So it makes you want to level up yourself, right? So, this is a Love Conquers podcast. We trying to help some folks. So I want to tap on this. The first thing that y'all said, which was what made y'all relationship dope, which was being able to allow each other to do, and help me with this. Allow each other. What did you say? Be in your own space, like be in your own lane. Y'all don't force each other to do anything differently than what y'all want to do. And I think this topic is gonna help somebody. Like I said, I don't care if you've been married 25 years or 5 years. I think this right here, because I feel like a lot of people, force their way into making other people do what they want them to do. You know what I mean? Like I told my wife, I said, hey, look, I'm a relationship and family therapist now. In my mind, I'm a relationship and family I got a relationship and family podcast. Kids can watch this. They can sit down with their parents if they want to and break it down and say, what were they talking about? And a parent can articulate, look, this is what they meant and this is what they were talking about. And this is for a teenager. It's like, I'm new to a relationship, and this is for a 25-year-old or a 45-year-old. And my wife was like, you're a relationship and family therapist. You're going to have the #1 podcast in the country. And so, like, somebody else might have some things that they want to tap into, and their spouse might tear it down. Since you said both of you agree, this what makes your relationship dope. How can you help somebody who's like, we've been married for a long time, this person didn't really allow me to go after my dreams? What does that conversation look like for you guys? Because I'm assuming that you guys are going after your dreams and each other are in support of it.
Yeah. So for me, this was when we was friends. So I guess it was one of those benefits of having friendship. I remember it like it was yesterday. We was in my on-campus apartment, and we had the conversation of kind of what we want to do. And I was just asking like kind of all the questions, knowing that's just how I am. And I asked her what she want to do, and is it cool if I help her in those things? So not necessarily, you know, what she's doing now, becoming a midwife and being a nurse, a labor and delivery nurse, and being a side, you know what I'm saying, oh, let me catch the baby type of thing. No, not that, but it was me just trying to share with her that I want to be there for her, right? And whatever she wants to do. And she was like, cool. And so there are some things that she shared in that same conversation that she wasn't as strong in, that she was strong in. And I'm like, yo, I want to be here to help you to become strong just holistically. So there's going to be some times where we'll push you or try to empower you, and you may not like it.
I didn't.
You feel me?
And your goal and what you want.
And her goals.
Okay.
And her goals. So I was trying to be supportive from day one, and she was trying to be supportive from day one, just as friends.
Yeah, my question to you right now is, anybody can answer this. Why do you think, with what you just said, right? Like, you supported your wife, even before she was your wife. And it wasn't about money. It wasn't about social status. And she got a good job. Like, you just told her job on air. Like, yo, she nurse, you know, she do her thing. But you supported her. So why do y'all think people they wad your husband down? Like, yo, don't do that. Or you shouldn't do that. Why do y'all think? And, no, you can't answer.
I'll from friends and their relationships with their husbands in different situations, I would say from the outside looking in, one of the people in the relationship didn't pursue theirs. So it's hard to watch, and whatever the reason may be, it may be personal fear. Like, I could have been a nurse, you know, but when I left school, I stopped the program, did all that for personal fear, or then, you know, going on my path. So I stopped my own path. So if I wouldn't have did that and Shawn was pursuing his and thriving in it, it could have been a personal resentment on myself, like I didn't go after mine. And they living in their purpose. So it's hard to watch somebody thriving and, you know, living their best life, and you're not there on your own. So you could be upset with yourself. You know, like, dang, I should have went after my goals. And it's and another one I would say is just because they don't know how to communicate. So people take, like, we discuss this as friends too, like, we're not gonna yell at each other. Whether we arguing, we're not gonna raise our voice, and we stuck with that. So some people don't know how to communicate. So you could be communicating that you're frustrated with how much time that person's career or school or whatever is taken away from y'all, and instead of just saying, I need more of your time this week, this is what I need from you, it turns into something else, because it's easy to argue, and then when you arguing, you get off topic anyway. So I think just how people communicate is another reason they don't really support. It's not necessarily not supporting the other person's goal or passion, they just don't know how to communicate on what that looks like for their relationship. Like, we talk about it, this is what I need from you at the end of the week, or, you know, whatever your career is or whatever, it took a lot of this, but this is what I needed, this is what our relationship needs. And if you can't communicate that, it's gonna fester and turn into something else.
And if I could add one more to what she's saying, is it can be the lack of being open-minded. So I feel like a reason why people may, you know, down somebody else's dreams is because they're not open-minded. And you need to be open-minded when you become as a team.
Taking notes.
So yeah, I believe that's very essential. And so I feel like, you know, people can come from a closed-minded background, or just like a very controlled background or household. You know, it could be from growing up, or so many things happen to them in their life, or they seen so many things, they probably live vicariously and seen so many things happen to somebody else's life, and they like, nah, I gotta get control. I gotta control this. I gotta control that. And so it might be the lack of open-mindedness that eliminates the team. from being we to me.
Because I don't think I was open to him and his passion and what he wanted to do. But I was very strong in the beginning, very strong on, I'm not about to be no first lady. I'm not doing that. So you can do it. That's cool. I got you. I'll drop you off. We're going to pray together before you go in this church and speak to these people.
But now you change.
But I don't want the people, I used to be like, if you want a church, that's cool, but I don't want these people to think that I'm not going to do my career and I'm about to be in church doing all. Because first lady, now she got all these jobs in the church. Yeah. And that become her role in life, and that's not my goal.
Oh, did you change?
I ain't changed it. I still don't think that that's what God put. That's not what God put me here for. So it was just I support you and making sure he knew that I'm not knocking what you want to do. I got your back, but that's not me giving up on what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Because if I give up on what I want to do just to solely support you, there's going to be some resentment later on in our relationship.
And because she let me know that, now I knew her expectations and what she wanted. Instead of me being like, no, you gonna sit here, you gonna do this, you gonna wear this.
No, we're not doing that.
So soon as we had those conversations, and we had those conversations a couple times. Why? Because if I'm incorrect, correct me. It was people that she was seeing, and it was other examples that she was seeing, because we wasn't used to this. Like, a pastor and then a soon-to-be wife. So we can only go based off what we see and what we knew. Mm-hmm. So with her seeing these different examples, we had to have these conversations multiple times, even though we was in agreement. Each conversation, like every time she would say it, or every time we had this conversation, she would share her expectation. Like, nah, I don't want to, be a first lady. I'm like, you good. You don't have to be. Be who God calls you to be. And guess what? I'm going to have to support you. And so the way I supported her in not being with what she's seen from so many different examples was letting other people know who, she may run into maybe in church or out in the street who knew me. Like, nah, that's not how Shanice rolls.
It was a running topic of, so you gonna be a minister too. Right. I'm like, do I gotta be one to see one? Like,
right.
Y'all want me to be fake?
I might charge for this podcast. Hold on. I just need that to breathe, honestly. Y'all went in on me. Like, I really just need that to breathe. Like, that was heavy. Like, I had a lot of questions, if I may. Shanice, you started out saying, hey, focus on, go after your dreams. Even if you are in a relationship and you've been married 20 years, right? If you never got a chance to do what you wanted to do as far as your career, you can always go back to school. Like, if your spouse is focusing on that and you're not telling that person not to do it because of something, a safety danger or something, like that, but you just trying to tell them what to do, like they want to be, they might, and I don't know how much jobs make, I'm not into all that, but say if the job that they going into doesn't make that much. Hey, but that's what is going to fulfill them. And if it's fulfillment for them, it probably bring more fulfillment to you because they're happy. So now you go after your dreams. Mm. Like, that's big, right? Like, that's really colossal. Like, that's, that's good, right? And then you said the second thing I heard you say, is not only go after your dreams, but communicate about what you want your dream to look like, even if you're changing it within your marriage. Because marriage is year 1 to year 5 to year 20, it changes. Things change. I've been with my wife since I was 18. I done did 3 or 4 different jobs now. Like, and I could have made them all a career. You know what I mean? And now I feel like I'm at the final stop of, trying to motivate people within their relationships and family dynamics and communities and being a mentor. You know what I mean? And so it changes. But I had to challenge you on something. It's just a challenge. The people want to know. Because Aaron want to know. What do you mean you guys don't raise your voices? I raise voices. My wife be like, you better stop raising your voice at me.
We don't raise our voice.
I got to get better at it. But maybe this is a lie, right? Or what I'm about to say. I feel like most people raise their voice. So, I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel like a lot of people need help in this area.
I think it's another personal thing that you have to recognize within yourself. Like off back when we first started dating, I told him because we can't communicate if I shut down. So if you raise your voice at me, I don't want to talk to you anymore. If I'm not talking, we can't communicate, which means it's just going to fester, whatever the issue is. We're not going to solve it. So in order to have a conversation with me,
how did you find out about it? Listen,
just growing up, you got parents who yell and doing all that. Like, I'm just going to look at you.
I need you to help somebody because people not that aware though of themselves. Like people not that aware of like what ticks them and what turns them down. They just get turned down and never even realize like, oh, because that person was yelling at me.
Yeah.
But you just saying like, yo, take the time to figure out who you are then.
Right.
Take the time
what
to
works
actually
for you in the art? Like, how do you communicate as an individual outside of a relationship? Because people think they relate. Like your friendship, how do you communicate with your friends when you and your friends get into a disagreement with each other? Like if you can't talk it out, I know that I don't talk to my friends, calling them out their name. Me and my friends, I'm like, hey B, like we don't talk to each other like that. So I know I don't expect him. Or if me and somebody else was being friends, you can't talk to me like that. That's just my personal boundaries.
Taking inventory.
Right. I don't do well with people because I don't know if you're being funny or if we need to fight. Like, so I don't know. So we can't talk to each other like that. So it was just, from the beginning, I told him we can't do the raising the voice thing because if you raise your voice at me,
shut me down.
I'm going to shut down and now we're not talking. And you're going to keep asking me what's wrong and trying to get an answer. And I don't have anything else to say to you because I personally shut down.
My whole relationship. That is like, that is, that's a golden nugget. So like, that's everything. And what I took from that is, if you don't know
what's your trigger?
It's hard for you to identify how you even want to communicate, but you gave the people on how you can know your trigger. You look at all your relationships with your parents, with your friends, and with your God and find a similarity, which is, oh, my mom yelled at me, and it wasn't just because it was my mom, because my friends yelled, then my boyfriend or husband yelled, it just shut me down. Maybe I should tell people, like, when you yell at me, this is going to be the consequence of that. That's good because now you're telling the person the consequence. A lot of times people say, just don't yell at me. I don't like when you yell at me. But this is the consequence now if you yell at me. Like it's going to shut me down, then you're not going to be able to talk to me. That's good. And then my boy chimed in and said, hey, you went on some whole mental, you went on the mental level. You said, look, it might be something that you have to dive into your past and deal with. Mm-hmm. Like within yourself though. The fact that you even telling somebody that, or you trying to be controlling over their life. You're not being supportive, you're being controlling.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I heard you say. So you might have to, do you believe in telling people to go to therapy or go talk to a pastor? Or you might have to go talk to somebody and figure that internal person out.
For sure.
Man, that's good, y'all. Listen. I mean, y'all said so much. I'm gonna leave it up to the people. Like, if y'all think this couple should come back on, listen. 5 years from now, let's see how they doing. Right, 10 years from now, or next month, I'll do part 2 with y'all, man. This was dope. Before we end it though, I asked you guys this 2-part question, right? 2-part thing. Is it anything that you wanted what did you want the people to get out of this interview today?
I would say that everybody's relationship is like different. It's okay for your relationship to be unique, whether you know people who in a similar situation. Like, it's cool to not be like everybody else that's around you. It's cool for your relationship to look different. Like, paint whatever works for you and your spouse is what works for y'all.
To be together 7 years and not have sex.
That too. Yeah, that works for us.
No, I'm just saying, to be a pastor and you tell a person like, yo, I don't got to be the first lady.
Yeah, that worked for us.
Because I ain't never heard it. But the fact that I just heard you say it, I'm like, that's dope.
Yeah.
What would you say, bro? What did you want the people to get out this interview?
I came in, when she started to answer, I came with the mindset of willingness. But within that willingness, you got to be, of course, willing to do whatever to make it work, to continue to be strong, to go from weak to being strong. But I believe in that will, it's a lot of patience. So if it's anything that take away the thought of patience is power.
Patience is power.
Patience is power, because you got to be patient with yourself. You got to be patient with the other person. You got to be patient with their growth and your growth. And it takes time for sure.
Another dope couple, man. So we end all of our podcasts where we have the couple look at each other, if you can. Then we're going to play a quick game.
Okay.
And I want you to be able to do this game at home. Anytime you do run into a rough patch, anytime you do say, yo, I'm about to start yelling. And that's not me. You know what I mean? Because you never know how time leads you into different spaces that you don't even want to be in yourself, where you're acting out of character. So I want to give all my couples this to just try it, see if it works for you. Me and my wife did it. We loved it. So I want to bring it to the world. So you're going to look at each other, and you're going to start off by saying, our unity created this. Whether it's love, whether it's friendship, and you're going to go back and forth. And my goal to see is whoever loses has to do something nice for the person. And I'm going to check in on you, see what you did. So, and it's going to be back and forth then, right? Like, I'll give you a couple off back. Our unity created peace. Our unity.
I was gonna say that.
So that was what I said. You can say it, but I'm going to have the queen go first. Ladies first.
Our unity created fulfillment.
Our unity created power.
Our unity created love.
Our unity created creativity.
Oh, snap. Our unity created happiness.
Our unity created uniqueness.
Our unity created
1,000, 2 1,000. She lost, y'all. Listen, one of the guys in the dinner, maybe I cheated, I don't know, but she lost. That's what we going with today. Listen, y'all, this is the Love Conquers podcast, and my unity with you guys, created this episode, right? This powerful, this amazing couple. So I want to say thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel and give me some likes, so we can keep this thing, going, so we can get more couples on, right? So if you thought this was a dope interview, put some likes in there, put some comments in there. And I just want to thank this beautiful couple for coming out.
Thank you, bro, for having us. Thanks for having us, for real.
Look, tune in to Love Conquers podcast next Thursday. Another episode is dropping at 7 p.m. It's going down. Thank you for tuning in.